I believed loyalty was a sturdy pillar, much like the metal I molded with my bare hands. But that evening, huddled outside my dad's office, I discovered it's a corroded link, worn by betrayal, broken by selfishness. His words pierced through the wooden barrier, keen as a welder's flash. Pass everything to Alina. Finalize it before Marcus hits 40. My hands balled into fists, not due to the cold, but from the realization that my existence, my toil, my wounds, my years, were being shaped into another's reward. I was the sole person who could reshape it. I was raised amid the blaze of a robust metalworks, where the atmosphere stinks of liquefied steel and soot. My universe was the casting ground, where I recognized every oven's roar, every laborer's pattern. For a decade and a half, I'd gained their admiration. Antonio, who could assess a joint's durability by its shine. Sophia, who handled the melters like a conductor. They refer to me as Marcus, not Mr. Reed, because I belonged to them. Palms darkened, clothes scorched, spirit tied to the flames. But above, in the polished meeting halls where deals were signed and heritages etched, I was invisible. My father, Edward, commanded from his crystal workstation, his neckties fastened snug, his tone silky, constantly advocating progress and expansion. My sibling, Alina, floated in, her shoes clicking like a lash, her management certification displayed like a trophy. She never experienced the oven's heat, never scorched her hand on a new pour, but she was the selected heir. Alina's the foresight, Dad would declare, his eyes gliding past me. Mom would murmur consent, her grin fragile, as if I were a flaw in her refined existence. I'd always trusted my moment would arrive. Grandpa Leo, who built this firm from one lone forge, promised it would. At 14, he'd guided me to the mine's brink where the rock towered like old deities. Marcus, he'd stated, his tone rough as residue. This isn't merely labor, it's a covenant. You respect the land, the team, the skill. You're the only one who understands it. His statements formed my base, his testament my tool, 40% of the metalworks, mine at 40 if I maintain the blazes consistent. But that evening behind Dad's entrance, I overheard the facts. They were dissolving my prospects, erasing my identity from the heritage I'd crafted. I crept off, my movements silenced on the stone tiles, a skill acquired from dodging embers in the shadows. But something halted me, a record on Dad's table labeled shift plan. A lone page protruded, my name crossed out in dark marker. Just my name erased like a flawed casting. My pulse raced, stronger than the machines beneath. Was he concealing? The following day, I immersed myself in the metalworks turmoil to quiet the doubts. The atmosphere was dense with the sting of liquid metal, the bang of mallets. I adjusted a melter's force, my grip firm despite the blaze in my core. Antonio met my gaze, his features etched with concern. "You okay, Marcus? You seem like you've inhaled cinders." I muttered, but my thoughts were distant, repeating Dad's phrases. Alina is prepared. Marcus isn't. That evening in my simple attic, I unearthed the box Grandpa Leo bequeathed me. Beneath aged schematics and a worn sharpening stone, I located it. A secured file, his testament. I forced it ajar, my respiration halting as I scanned. To Marcus Reed, on his 40th birthday, if output standards exceed sector norms for 4 years. 40% of robust metalwork shall be his. I'd achieved that, surpassed every target sacrificed for this site. But then, a provision in small print, contingent on panel assessment of managerial capability. Managerial capability. The phrases burned me. They'd confined me to the casting area, distant from planning meetings, attributing my successes to Alina. Every extended duty, every method revision, every customer I'd won. They'd taken it, portraying me as a worker, not a director. I closed the file sharply, my teeth clenched. But that wasn't the gravest part. I began investigating. At 3 a.m., when the metalworks was empty, I accessed the firm's obsolete system. My table light wavered as I combed through records. My inventions. 22% yield increase, 30% waste reduction. All assigned to Alina. My name vanished. I uncovered notes between Dad and the panel belittling my efforts. Marcus is reliable but missing broad vision. Reliable, like an instrument, not a person, not a successor. Then I uncovered something grimmer. Adherence records concealed far in. Checks Dad had mandated altered. Infractions hidden, defective exhausts, substance spills unrecorded. My stomach churned. Grandpa Leo's words echoed. "Respect the team, Marcus." These were my team, suffocating on vapors because Dad cut corners to inflate earnings. I contacted Leela, the former adherence leader dismissed 3 years ago for defiance. We convened at a rundown tavern over the stream, where the liquor is inexpensive and the illumination faint. Leela's gaze was unyielding, but she passed a memory stick across the bar. They framed me, Marcus. False records blamed their mistakes on me. I retained proof. Utilize it. Evening after evening, I assembled my weapons. Additional deceptions emerged. Extra hours compensation deducted from joiners. Pollution breaches that could ruin us. Each disclosure was a fresh injury. A fresh ignite in my blood. Elena's online profiles gleamed with images from Rome, supported by my 80-hour stints. Dad's signature on an order asserting my creations as his. I was drowning in their falsehoods, but I persisted, crafting forward. I couldn't inhale any longer. The burden of it, years of being wiped out, of being the drudge while Elena shone, overwhelmed me. I positioned in the metalworks at twilight, the ovens cool, the air laden with grime. My fingers shook as I clutched a metal bar, its cold nipping my hands. I yearned to shatter something, to liquefy it all. That afternoon, Elena summoned me to a Skyline bistro, all transparent and costly drinks. She arrived tardy, her scent pungent as solvent, her grin more piercing. Marcus, Dad's appointing me chief of manufacturing. You'll report to me now. She twirled her cocktail, nonchalant, as if she hadn't incinerated my realm. Grandpa's testament grants me 40%, I uttered, my tone deep and heated. She sneered, a noise like fracturing frost. Oh, Marcus, that's provisional. You're not a director, you're just soiled palms. Her conceit was a fan to my blaze. I rose, my chair scraping. We'll observe. The executive chamber was a melting pot. Dad presided at the front, Elena next to him, their attorney, Mr. Vance, arranging papers. Mom attended, her gem studs sparkling like a caution. They assumed this was sealed, an opportunity to expel me. Marcus, Dad commenced, his manner oozing disdain. We're shifting the holdings to Elena. You'll receive 8%. It's equitable. The term fractured me apart. I unlocked my bag, extracting Leela's memory stick, a pile of documents and Grandpa's testament. You've deceived for years, I declared, my words cutting their smugness. Altered adherence records, pilfered salaries, pollution breaches that could entomb us. I pushed the proof over the surface, each page a flicker. I possess evidence. 42 protection infractions, 10 million in possible penalties. Statements from employees who have endured sufficient. Mom's respiration faltered. Elena's complexion paled. Dad attempted to respond, but I wasn't finished. Grandpa's testament is explicit. I've exceeded every standard. Those holdings are mine. Contest me and every document heads to the authorities tomorrow. Mr. Vance examined the papers, his mouth firm. He's correct, Edward. This is unbreakable. Dad's gaze constricted, but he was ensnared. Elena's look darted, searching for an escape that wasn't there. For the first time, I perceived them as they truly were, fragile, frightened, revealed. I departed, my footwear echoing on the stone surface, each stride discarding years of uncertainty. I wasn't merely battling for holdings. I was battling for Grandpa Leo's agreement, for the team who relied on me, for the reality I'd suppressed too long. The mine instructed me resilience, but this conflict instructed me blaze. I'm constructing something fresh with Leela. Our own metalworks, modest but genuine, but robust still my essence, and I'll preserve it or dissolve it attempting.